Thank you, Hilton. Oh, we've been tweeting, David. I've been tweeting now. I'm on Twitter. So anybody who's listening to this, unlike David Shapiro,
Yeah, you're not allowed
he's a
to do that.
Philistine, you know, who knows Twitter from birds, huh?
No, nothing. I'm excluded from most people's sites.
No, I doubt it. But David, you need to go onto twitter.com and then go and put in Alec Hogg, and then you can follow. Because I'm updating through the day, interesting stuff. Okay.
I'll have a
Will you
look.
do that?
Sure.
Do you know how
Twitter.
to go into
Twitter.
Twitter.com.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why I'm getting excited about this is that in Davos this year, the guys were looking around in one of the technology sectors and said in sessions. Now remember, these are chief executives, politicians, powerful people. And they said, is there anyone here who doesn't tweet? I was a bit embarrassed, so I needed to find out about it. And I'm into it now. So anyone listening, you can go and follow the movements through the day on Twitter. I promise you I will not bore you. David Shapiro, you never bore us on this program, no, do you? Old Mutual results. We're going to talk to Julian in a little while. But maybe the big news story of the day was the 8 billion rand bid from Tiger Brands. It's now been blocked.
Yeah.
Did it surprise you?
I think so. No, I don't think so.
Well, it's
I
been
think,
dropped,
yeah,
not
it's
blocked.
been
It's
dropped.
been dropped.
I don't think AVI were too fond of the deal, and I don't think they supported the deal. So if your management's not supporting, it's going to be very, very hard to push it through.
Peter McLaury is the chief executive of Tiger Brands. Peter, there were a few people who were surprised when only a short time in office you moved on the AVI deal. It seemed like a really good price. The market changes since would suggest that 24 Rand a share is actually now a very juicy offer. But today you decided to pull out. How much of this was due to changes in market conditions?
Good evening, Alec. Quite clearly, part of it was due to market conditions because you've seen what's happened over the last few months. And I guess everybody's being a little more conservative and prudent in some respects. But other things, obviously, as we've indicated, we had been in discussion with AVI, and as we went along, the discussions didn't, I suppose, end up where we would have liked them to in many respects. And that's, I guess, one of the other key areas. We wanted an agreed transaction because we always believe, particularly if you have to eke out the kind of synergies that we are talking about, it's best to have the kind of management team that is looking at the world in the same way.
And how were you different?
I think in many respects, Alec, we have a particular view as to what can happen in the FMCG grocery business and adjacent businesses, and I guess their strategy is somewhat different. But having said that, the discussions were very professional. I don't want to imply that there was anything untoward.
Peter, as far as you're concerned, not having to do this deal now will allow you to focus on other areas. Was there also any thought about the fact that times are more difficult and you do need to conserve cash at this point in time that maybe swayed your final decision?
It certainly comes into the mix, Alex. I think everybody wants to make sure that we stick to our knitting. Having said that, I still do believe the strategy was right, and Tiger does need to find the appropriate opportunities to grow at the right price, quite obviously, and we'll continue to pursue those.
Peter McLaury, Chief Executive of Tiger Brands. David, it's a sensible deal from Tiger's perspective. Not so good for Anglo-Vol Industries, or AVI as it's now called. Down 17%, the AVI share price.
Yeah, I think that was it had been pushed up on the on the Tigers deal. Yeah, I think we're just trading way above where people expected it to be. So it's understandable that it's come back.
Personalities or economics?
It's very difficult to say, because I think if they would have put it together, there were a huge amount of synergies that would have come out of it. In other words, cost cutting, and it would have overlapped very, very nicely. Would have put together an exceptionally good, fast-moving consumer goods company. So I think there would have been a good fit. And I'm sorry for Peter, and I'm sorry for maybe in the longer term for a Tiger shareholder.
David, as far as the market as a whole is concerned, you are smiling tonight. 2% growth in the all-share index.
I think on the background of China, there's a view that the Chinese are going to extend their stimulus package, because in my view, that's the only area that's going to save the world, is if China starts to spend again and starts to push up prices, because we see it's not coming from the United States. So I think this is one area of the market that we can hope for, and talk that a package will be announced, or an extension to the package will be announced tomorrow. Started to lift commodity shares, and we saw a big turnaround in resource shares on our market. Even Anglo's picked up today. Billiton was up. Goldfields up 9% for the second day in a row. So that gave the rest of the market a lift. Industrials were pretty flat. flat. So most of the running came from the resource sector.